Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Weird Sound Wednesday. Our sound today that we're going to be discussing is actually a very conventional sound, one that you've heard all the time, but I'm going to showcase it because it blew my mind when I finally picked up one of these instruments for myself and really realized how it works. It's just amazing. So, this is a Hammond M3 organ. It's a lot of people call it the baby brother of the B3. Inside, it's all exactly the same, just in a smaller console with two 44-key keyboards and two sets of drawbars rather than four. You don't have any of the presets that would be on a Hammond B3. But if we take a look in the back, it's pretty dark. All the internal mechanics are the same. This organ's really an amazing machine. I wonder if I can get the flashlight on while I'm shooting. No, I can't. Basically, what you've got over here, there's this rod that goes through the whole organ, and there's about, I think it's 61 gears on it that pass under these pickups. And based on which drawbars are pulled, that determines which pickups read and which notes sound. You got the tube amps down here. Here's the separate amp for the reverb speaker. Many people take these out and build little guitar amps out of them. You can't see it, but here's a beautiful necklace reverb that if I hit it, you can hear it crackle in there. So sorry for the bad light, but that's the back of this organ. It's kind of cool. This is an electroacoustic, well, not electroacoustic, but it's a mechanical instrument, so it's not digital. I'm going to use this Digitech pedal here as a weight to play some sound. If I've got sound coming out and I cut the power to the organ, you'll hear that bar slow down, and the pitch changes. So, kind of a neat thing. I'm going to start her back up here. There we go. Now I want to show you how the drawbar system works. So I'm going to put this down here on my B flat and D flat keys. Get a nice minor third there. And here's how the Hammond makes its tone, as you have these systems of drawbars, and they're just brilliant. Each drawbar controls a harmonic or a partial of the tone, and sometimes they're labeled with lengths like 16 feet, 8 feet, 4 feet. Lots of organs have that. That refers to the lengths of pipes on a pipe organ to produce the different sounds. Here's how the drawbar organ works. These white drawbars are the natural, the octaves of the fundamental tone. So if I pull out the first one, there's my lowest notes. And give it a little more juice. Pull out the second. We hear the octave. Pull out this third white, we got two octaves. And here's a third octave. And so you can start crafting your tone. You know, each one of these has a 0 through 8 setting for sound. But where does all the color come in that gives the Hammond its beautiful sound? Well, that comes from the other drawbars. These black drawbars are the partials in between, like fifths and thirds, so you can actually get a single note to play a chord. So let's see what those sound like. Oh yeah. Pretty darn neat. You can see that the amount of timbral options the system gives you, it's nearly infinite. 3 and 3 and 4 and 4 are both very common tones. So if I pull out the first 3 all the way, this is kind of a really standard tone down for the lower keyboard. This is just coming out of the organ's internal speaker right now. Not through a Leslie, not through anything fancy. I have a cheap, crappy little Leslie that was pulled out of a home organ. Doesn't sound great. I typically use this Lester K Leslie simulator when I want the rotating speaker sound. Here, I'll fire up the amp. I have it running through so you can hear that. So here's with the Lester K added. And that's got a speed break on it. As well. So that's kind of cool. Make that a little softer. You'll notice that the top keyboard has a little bit of a different set of drawbars. It's got these two brown ones that play kind of beneath the fundamental before the first pitch comes in. So let's take a listen to those. I'll put where'd my little stomp box go that I was using as a weight? Huh. Oh, right here. So I'll put that same thing. I've got on a B flat and an E flat, and here's the fundamental pitch, and I can get these subharmonics. Ooh, how beautiful is that? So 3 and 3 here. This is I think this is the green onions tone. Pretty cool. The other wonderful thing about the Hammond, beyond just the amazing powers of this drawbar system, that I think is really the characteristic thing of the sound, is the percussive click that you get on the top keyboard. So even if I put all of the drawbars in, the top keyboard will play a percussion note when I hit a key to start the sound. I can have it set to the second harmonic, or I can switch that to the third harmonic. So that'll kind of change your color. You can just be hitting one note and changing the percussion harmonic and kind of get some neat sounds there. And then when I pull the drawbars out, it adds to that sound. So you hear the percussive attack, and then it fades into the organ tone. Because these things are old and awesome, you know, the percussion doesn't always work exactly the same on every key and doesn't always engage the same. I think that's what gives these instruments some of their character. This organ was built in 1953. Everything in it was hand soldered. I was not very good to it when I was transporting it and getting it down to the basement. I didn't realize you can lock down some of the internal parts, and it still works great. People knew how to build stuff to last back then. So that's the Hammond drawbar system. You've got these beautiful, very simple and intuitive bars that let you shape your tone in a great variety of ways. You've got the percussion menu for your top keyboard that you can turn on. Here's a slow decay on the percussion. I'll put the drawbars in so you can hear the difference. So that lasts kind of nice and long versus the fast runs out quickly. Just a super, super cool instrument. So if you were wondering why the Hammond sounds so unique, so distinct, it's that percussion sound and it's the wonderful drawbar system. There are some other companies that make drawbar organs, but it's really the Hammond thing. If you look at a lot of other home console organs, they'll have a series of switches or levers, but they don't give you this option, you're either on or off. You can't put it halfway, like you can on here. You want to scoop your mids, you can scoop your mids. You want only mids, totally different sound. So that's a C major chord right there. Here's the same C major chord with a different drawbar setting. Just wild. If we have only the black drawbars out, you don't even hear the chord that you're playing. Right? Weird. Really weird. One more thing. I'll just, I wish I had a weight. I could just trying to hold down a single key here with the pinky on my right hand while I hold my phone. And we're going to get it to play a chord just with our selection of harmonics. So there's the fundamental. There's the fifth. There's the third. Look at that. I've got a major chord out of a single note. That's why you can get so much color out of these instruments. So beautiful. So awesome. So since I put this in my basement about a year ago, I've just been using it on most everything. I'm not a brilliant keyboard player, but when you get that click, you can just get a lot of really really cool percussive sounds out of this. It's almost like playing bongos more than it is like playing a piano. So listen for some of my Hammond sounds on Identity Games and Captain Queso and the Revealing Science of Groove. I had this instrument for both of those. This is the Hammond M3. You can find these free or cheap on Facebook and Craigslist all the time. People love to get rid of them because they're big and heavy. But if you got a truck and you got some buddies to help you move it, it is a really awesome instrument to have in the home. So thanks for tuning in to Weird Sound Wednesday. I'll see you next time.